In this video, we're going to talk about how to make a parody. Okay, parody videos are great ways to get extreme reactions from everybody and watch your video go viral. Even if you have hardly any following, and if you just plain suck at what you do, sometimes a parody video can launch your entire career. So, let's jump into it, and I'll also show you some examples of parodies I've done and exactly how I was able to do it fast. So, first off, I'm gonna simplify this thing right here, okay? There's a video or an announcement or a movie, sometimes an event or a political speech that goes on, right? It's on the internet, TV, whatever, and it's a serious thing. I'll call this the original video, okay? So what you're gonna do is redo that original video, but in a really funny and ridiculous way, and sometimes you'd be proving a point. Like for instance, if you have your own opinions about the original video, you can make a real big statement. You can apply for this special license, which is a under the influence license. Really prove your opinions rather than just stating out your opinions in text or straight speech. Actually quite powerful. So say for instance, you do not agree with a certain politician and the politician has a track record of not being very honest. Number one, write out an outline of what's going to occur in the parody. Think ahead. You'll use green screen and add a background later. Number two, you would basically dress up like the politician. If not, buy some new clothes and then get your green screen set ready. As I was saying, you're going to make sure the background is similar to the regular video. Study the original video, learn how to speak and talk where you sound like the politician or subject, and pay attention to accents, tone, demeanor, and vocabulary this subject uses, okay? You don't like that shit while we're talking?
I'm gonna let while you're speaking. Once you say something about marijuana laws, I'm gonna let it.
Nice, all right. All right, here we go. You ready?
Later in my hand.
Let's do it. Showtime.
Hello, my fellow Americans. We're here today to address some very important issues. Now, as I was saying, exaggerate the subject at hand. Next up, we're going to make sure that we also abolish this so-called drug war. We're going to make sure that all drugs and all narcotics are legalized. We're going to make sure that you can drink, you can smoke. If he or she is a dishonest politician, perhaps you would put on a long Pinocchio nose on your face. Film a total spoof of whatever the original video was about. Well, easier said than done. So let's take a look at some of the parodies that I've done. This was a few years back. This was a guru. His name was Dave, and I started to see his videos here and there on the internet. He was quite eccentric, and it wasn't that I didn't agree with him or something. I didn't want to hurt his feelings or anything like that, but it was like a perfect situation for a parody, all right? Because he's such a unique location and had a weird style about himself. He'd regularly record himself with a whiteboard in the jungle, which was quite different for some reason. So when someone is a little awkward or weird, it's ripe for the taking. So here's the original video. Check it out.
Hey there, my friends. This is Dave Wood talking to you from my home out in the mountains in Costa Rica. Follow along with me as I share with you my journey of how I became successful in internet marketing.
All right, so, and then here is the parody video starring yours truly. He'll be able to sell this same site to his friends that you may not even know. So I used a wig that I bought off of Amazon and wearing clothing that was kind of similar to what he was wearing, right? And then with some brief research into his accent, where he came from, and paying attention to the certain things that he says and the way that he says them, good to go, right? So it wasn't like I had to rewrite his whole speech or anything like that, but I did take mental notes as to some very important points that he made in his original video. That's right. And that was the intro talking about who he was and where he was living, and this just happened to be something that he would repeat in every video. That he lived in Costa Rica and he has a girlfriend and he makes a lot of money, and right there was something that I could have fun with. So another important part is that other people at this point in time knew who he was, so I would be trending off of them understanding who I was portraying, right? If it's a nobody, don't bother. So now you get all this money from these people that you recruited, and then after you're done with that, then basically you can take your money and you can basically start to purchase cocaine in Colombia or in Costa Rica, where I live. So for instance, I'm not an internet marketing guru, but I'm actually a cocaine farmer and dealer, and I have a beautiful girlfriend. I live in the jungle, and you also probably notice that there's some strange exotic bird making noise in the background. That is actually one of the funniest parts about this entire video, the sound effects. Never forget the sound effects, all right? The bird, the frogs, and all the sounds. I added those sounds to the video after everything was filmed and edited. See, That's a much deeper and more serious jungle sound than in the original video. So right there, that's something that you always have to do with the parody, is making things more extreme than they really are and accentuating things and almost exaggerating things. And a parody is the place to do that. Satire is one of the most protected forms of speech thanks to the First Amendment, and therefore you can really do all sorts of crazy stuff. Just obviously don't do things that are really not good to do. But a lot of the time you can also add in concepts like, what if this person was a so-and-so? Or what if you were to ask this person this question that the person has never been asked? Or what would that be like? Right? I've also done parodies of myself, for instance. What would it be like if an 80-year-old version of myself from the future traveled back in time to teach me what to do and what not to do? So I actually did that. And I even went a little further, and it went like this. Here I am in my office 15 years ago when I was first getting started with my Hip Hop Beats website, and my present self went back in time to talk to my old self. So I'm standing there, the 40-year-old present self of myself, talking to the 28-year-old version of myself, you know, that type of thing. And after giving myself some advice for a couple minutes, hey, don't do that, stop doing that, do that instead, that thing's gonna be a waste of time, right? That's a bad investment of your time. Typical things that I'd probably explain to my old self, right? All of a sudden, the elderly version of myself, that hasn't even happened yet, shows up and starts yelling at both of them.
Alright, I had enough of you. Yeah, it's me. From 2049, I'm 72 now.
Both of the versions of me. So you got three me's in the room now explaining what to do, what not to do, and really just ripping both of us apart, telling the current version of myself that I'm arrogant, money doesn't matter. Like, it's a question like, will I think that later on? What will I think, right? And it makes you think. So the result was people watched this video and were like, what dimension are you from? It kind of impressed them, although there wasn't really any real purpose behind the video or a call to action selling anything. This multi-dimensional thing did incredibly well with engagement, for instance, compared to other videos that I was doing around that time. And this isn't necessarily an income-producing activity, but if you have problems making deals or getting responses from people, this can help. So I've done this quite a lot. I've done parodies of people who are friends of mine.
Get a portable pocket friend,
And roast them for fun. And then I've done parodies that offended people as a way of communication.
Like California Gold Rush, it's like it'll give you the city of Monterey. Roll down the mountain with the gold stick all over you with my two-sided tape. At 4 a.m., go to Denny's, pick any random person in there. I'm promising you that even they would get it. Hell, I've been there.
You know, and portraying my point of view without really having to speak about it or waste time arguing. I think it's a fun and artistic way to express yourself, to be honest with you. You just need to practice it a little bit, you know, practice a little acting, as you have to do it well, as it could be cringe central if you fail at a parody. And I have to say, I don't even think I've ever failed at it, especially if I felt good enough to publish it. The thing is, remember when you're creating these things, you don't necessarily have to release it if it didn't come out good. I've done a few projects or a few parodies that I haven't released, but everything that I've released did quite well, and I decided to make this video because people are always asking me how to do this, or how I add a second version of myself, how do I play two different characters, and you know, that's all there is to it. You have an original video and then you pick out a couple very important points in the video to bring up, but you go to the extreme and you go off on a tangent when it comes to a couple of things that the original person said. And again, you're probably not gonna make any money with this, even if you go viral, so spend your time at your own risk, but in the long run, sometimes it can save you time arguing with someone or defending yourself against an unscrupulous competitor who is just being unfair. So just make sure to get your background right. Sometimes I take a screenshot of the original video, I do some Photoshop, and I get rid of the original character, right? But I keep the background part. Use a green screen when filming, then erase the green, have some fun. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you dig this video and you got something out of it. Just go do some parody videos and satires and make sure to let us know in the comments if you have one to show us here, okay? That would be awesome. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and then check out onlinegoldmine.com. Sign up for cool free online business and production stuff. All right, I'll see you soon.